This week on TechRap, MySpace makes a comeback. What will be of the pioneering social network's new lease on life? Facebook takes on the search market with a search engine for connections. And we go up close and personal with the Nexus 4. Hi, I'm Michael Josh, and this is TechRap. Facebook dominates tech headlines this week. In a special event on Wednesday, the social networking giant announces Graph Search, a search engine for connections. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg calls it the third pillar in the Facebook ecosystem, along with Newsfeed and Timeline. Graph Search is powered by Facebook's index of 240 billion photos, 1 billion people, and 1 trillion connections. Zuckerberg clarifies Graph Search is not web search.
Graph Search is not web search, is the first thing that I want to start off with. We're not indexing the web here, we're indexing our map of the graph.
Instead, he says it is a tool that people can use to map out the stories of their lives.
It's interesting because most people today don't think about Facebook as a place to discover places where they could go eat or things that they could go do. But with this product, it's so natural to be able to do that.
TechRap got early access to the service. You'll notice that the top nav bar has changed slightly. In lieu of the word Facebook, you'll get a Facebook logo with the letter F. When on a page or profile, you'll see its owner's name, but when you're on your newsfeed, it will say search for people, places, or things. Regardless of what it says, you can click on the blue bar and search. Since we're new to this, Facebook gives us a few suggestions on how to phrase a search. We tried a few queries to show you what it can do. Restaurants in Bacolod City my friends have liked. Photos taken in Bacolod City my friends have posted. Music my friends who go to Ateneo de Manila University listen to. Friends who like Rappler and Les Miserables the movie. It's a pretty nifty feature, almost scary actually. Expect Facebook to roll out the service over the course of the next month. You can also visit facebook.com/graphsearch, scroll all the way down, and click the Try Graph Search button to get on the waiting list. After tests in Canada earlier this month, Facebook users in the United States can now make free voice calls using Facebook's Messenger app. Facebook confirms the slow rollout and says that users with early access to the service can make calls over both cellular and Wi-Fi. Before there was Facebook, there was MySpace, the world's leading social networking site. That was until 2008 when Facebook took over the lead, and it was all downhill from there for the world's social networking pioneer. This week, MySpace redesigned and reopened to the public its fourth major rebrand to date. Its new focus? Music discovery. Users can sign up using their old accounts, create new ones, or log in via Twitter or Facebook. Registration is simple, and once you're done, you can connect with your Facebook and Twitter contacts. Inside, you'll see a tile-based interface that you can scroll through horizontally, similar to Windows 8 if you think about it. Once populated, it's a pretty sleek new interface. Your profile will need its own cover photo. Unlike any other site, its minimum cover photo requirement is a whopping 1024 by 768 pixels. Shocking, ain't it? Connections and discovery are a big part of the experience. A navbar on the left lets you go through a library of songs, albums, and mixes from your friends or artists you have connected with. If you don't have any yet, there is a Discover bar at the bottom that will get that sorted out. Click on that and you can discover trending topics and videos, and of course the site's big focus, music. There's a lot of it on the site, and plenty of tracks and or albums for you to listen to. Search is pretty cool also. Just type anywhere on the interface and it brings up a search bar. You can search for artists, songs, music, and people. You can also add songs to a playlist and have the site serve you music as you go about your daily business on the web. Also in the news this week, United Airlines launches the world's first international flight with uninterrupted internet connectivity. The satellite-based service runs on a Boeing 747-400 with 300 other aircrafts expected to get the service before the end of 2013. After last year's shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School, the National Rifle Association of America launches a target shooting iOS game aimed at users 4 and up. Now, the game is aimed to teach users responsible gun use, but users are beginning to ask, will the game do more harm than good? Apple's stocks took a dip this week after reports surfaced that part orders for the iPhone 5 have dropped. Now, some users are beginning to speculate that the iPhone 5 isn't as popular, but Display Search, a marketing firm, says that this isn't the case. It says that Apple's first batch of shipments was just too big. Downloaded more than 170 million times since its launch, Temple Run is one of the most successful games of the last 2 years. This week, game developer Imanji releases Temple Run 2. It's pretty much like the original, but better. You still have to run from a scary monster. The new one, by the way, looks like a larger version of the original. Trip and he'll get closer. One big change is scenery. If the original takes place in the middle of a jungle, Temple Run 2 takes place in a temple above the clouds. Better graphics and nuanced improvements like shadows and rays of light make it a more enjoyable experience. Instead of sharp turns, this update has curves, which makes gameplay a lot more realistic. You also get a sense of depth by running upstairs and sliding down zip lines. Another interesting new element are minecarts that you ride at certain points in the game. One thing I'm sad to see go are angel wings that you could purchase with coins you pick up during the game and use as insurance just in case you die. In Temple Run 2, this gets replaced with gems that you can also pick up during the game. In the event you die, you now get the option to continue playing, but you'll need to pay with gems. They double in cost the more times you use them during a single game. You can buy extra gems as an in-app purchase, smart move for Imanji. If you love the original, you're sure to love this one better. It feels great and is perfect when all you want is a quick break. At the moment, the game is only available for iOS. Days after its release, it now is the #1 free app on the iTunes App Store, just like its predecessor. Android users, don't fret, Temple Run 2 is set to make its Google Play Store debut next week. It's now time to dig into our mailbag to answer some of your tech questions. This first one comes via email from Orlando Saiman, and he asks, what iPad apps can you recommend for writers? Orlando, you know, the biggest problem with the iPad is that there's so many distractions. You can go on the internet, there's so many wonderful games that you might want to play, and you have to resist the temptation to go on social media like on Twitter and Facebook. So I recommend an app called Write Room. Write Room basically gives you a black screen so you can focus on your writing. Write Room unfortunately costs $4.99, but it's worth the price, and it also has a Mac app that you can use. And it also syncs with Dropbox so that you can sync your documents on the cloud. Another app that I recommend is Evernote. The good thing about Evernote is it works on all platforms, Mac, PC, Android, BlackBerry, iOS. Now, it doesn't give you a distraction for your writing, but what I like about Evernote is that you can save snippets from their web. So say you're doing a research on the internet and you find some material for the story that you're writing, then you can save it as a snippet and it's available across all your devices. This next question comes in via Twitter from Jacob Clevano, and he asks, what can we expect from the new BlackBerry phones that RIM will release this month? Well, your question is perfectly timed. Actually, this week there was a leak of the BlackBerry Z10, and it was leaked online. I'm not sure if this is exactly the phone that we're going to see at the end of the month, but it does look like the prototypes that we saw at previous BlackBerry events. Now, if you want to learn more about the features of BlackBerry 10 OS, you can tune in to TechRap episode 4. All the details were covered in that show. Got a tech question that you'd like me to answer? Send me an email, techrap@rappler.com, or a message on Twitter using the hashtag TechRap. Launched last November, we're totally stoked to finally get our hands on a Google Nexus 4 of our very own. And we must say, it certainly lives up to its billing of putting the best of Google at the palm of your hand. Quickly, here are some specs. The device is powered by a 1.5 GHz quad-core Snapdragon S4 Pro processor, 2 GB of RAM, 8 or 16 GB of storage, and runs on the Android OS 4.2 Jelly Bean. The device sports a 4.7-inch Gorilla Glass display with a 1280 by 768 resolution. That's 320 pixels per inch. A 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, and an 8 megapixel main camera. The Nexus 4's design, though sleek, is also discreet and won't attract that much attention. That's a good thing, especially if you're out and about and need to use your phone while you're on the go. The phone is incredibly lightweight, it feels great when held with one hand, and grips well despite its glass back. Software-wise, the user interface is clean and intuitive. Settings are generally easy to access. Swiping through pages is fast and snappy. Using Google is a joy. Playing graphics-heavy games is also a pleasant experience thanks to the device's quad-core processor. The Nexus 4 also has a powerful built-in photo editing software, great for retouching photos. Its photosphere feature is great for taking false, wide-angle shots, but might need practice to perfect. What we didn't like? Battery life. We obviously are heavy internet users, and using Wi-Fi or 3G connectivity depletes the battery rather quickly. The battery is not replaceable, so we're crossing our fingers that a battery boost case comes out soon. Speaking of cases, we went around the metro and found that there aren't any available protective cases yet, so if you get one anytime soon, you'd have to be extra careful not to get any scratches on it. For an Android device, it also lacked some customization. Quick settings and notification shade are great, but should be more customizable. Same goes for the lock screen. We like Samsung's customization of the Android OS a bit better. Other downsides, the device only comes with at most 16 gigabytes of storage with no option for expandable memory. It also does not come with LTE connectivity, something that comes standard with most devices in its class. Overall, it's still a wonderful device that does what it's supposed to. If you're in the market for a reasonably priced high-end Android smartphone, LG's Nexus 4 is a good choice. If you live in the Philippines, you can have a friend purchase one for you abroad, or get one with a new plan from Smart. And that was TechRap. For news and updates, don't forget, follow Rappler.com on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Events happening this month. On January 23rd, Wednesday, Google holds its kickoff event for 2013 in Taguig. And if you're a BlackBerry user, you won't want to miss the launch of BlackBerry OS 10 on January 30th. Until then, I'm Michael Josh. Thanks for dropping by.